You're
What's going on, brother?
How you doing, buddy? Ready for this draft? Second one we've done today. First one on stream.
The first draft that we did, God, my team was a stone nuts. So I'm
Was it?
expecting that to take it down. But just real quick, before we get into this draft, go over to the YouTube,
Mm,
check out these videos. Let me zoom in a little bit. We got
mm,
the tight end discussion. We got a running back rankings breakdown, quarterback down,
mm.
wide receiver later this week. Make sure you check it out at the DFS
Got guests on
Dose.
each of those episodes.
Yeah.
ETR's Jack Miller, Todd from PA, High Low
Yep.
FF.
So make sure you go subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, let's
Yep.
get into it.
I'm interested to see, Joey, who your 102 is.
Um,
Who's it going
it's
to be?
I think it's Dalvin. Just because we saw last year that he was one of the better fantasy running backs, and the workload is there, and they don't want to play Madison a bunch unless Dalvin Cook is hurt. So it's probably Cook, but it's hard not to take Kamara, especially on a full PPR site like this. Dalvin Cook is a smash at 102 on underdog. On drafters, full PPR, it's a decision.
Got about 6 seconds
I
to make it.
think I gotta just take the guaranteed workload with Dalvin.
Mm.
But it's tough, man, because like I said, full PPR site, Alvin Kamara, it's him and Michael Thomas in that Saints offense. Like, yeah, there's quarterback concerns. You don't know if Winston or Taysom Hill's gonna start, but they have two talented players and really nobody else. So it's kind of just like, the quarterback might be bad, but there's gonna get touches.
I mean,
So
if Jameis Winston's quarterback in the Saints offense, then it's probably going to be putting up more points than it did with Drew Brees last year.
yeah,
JT at 4. Couple people we recognized in this draft. We got IC, member of our Discord, FT Houston, longtime
yeah,
listener of the pod.
yeah.
Couple
So
OGs in here.
yeah,
Couple new fish as well.
yeah. If you're watching and you're not already in our Discord chat where we literally talk about best ball pretty much every single day, make sure you go down in the link or in the description down below if you're watching on YouTube. It's a link to join, free to join, and we have a little separate best ball channel, which we use to discuss best ball every day. So if you're not already joined, I'm assuming that most of the people that watch our streams are. If you're not, make sure you join. It's pretty dope.
Cam Akers 1-7 over Saquon Barkley. Actually, I don't
I
hate
mean,
it.
Saquon has been trending downward lately.
He has. He's him and Zeke have basically flipped.
Yeah, I mean, there are some concerns because the injury was more severe than everybody initially thought it was with Saquon, and they said that they're going to ease him in. And then, especially in a 17 game season, like they're committed to Saquon, obviously, so they want to keep their star player healthy. I could see him having a minimal workload in the first couple of weeks, which in the long run doesn't matter much, especially in a playoff format. I know drafters isn't, but if you're drafting on underdog, then in weeks 15, 16, 17, you're gonna get the workload that you want, but probably not starting out. And Devontae Booker, I mean, shout out to somebody in our Discord because they sniped me last draft that we did earlier today on drafters. When I was the 12th pick and he was the 11th, and I was gonna take Devontae Booker because they went out, signed him to be their RB2, and he wasn't bad last year when he got the opportunity. And I think he's one of the better 18th, 19th, 20th round running back selections with this uncertainty around Saquon. But yeah, shout out to the person. I forgot who did it. They completely sniped me. They drafted him like 30 picks above ADP,
Yeah, I
but
mean, it's funny you bring that up because I remember them taking Booker. I didn't know he was
it
on
was
your
in the
radar at
it
all.
was in the 18th round because at that point,
Why are we taking Devontae Booker, bro?
at that point in that draft earlier, I had four running backs, but I was fine with those four. So I filled out the rest of my team in the mid and kind of late rounds. And then I was going to get like a nice RB5 that I think has upside if Saquon doesn't play, which he will. he's going to be the RB1 for the Giants if Saquon misses time. So I think right now he's probably the best late round running back pick on the board. And in late round,
Mm,
I'm talking about 18th, 19th, 20th round.
interesting. Interesting indeed.
But yeah, so yeah, shout out to that person. That pissed me off. So I had to go with Darrell Williams in that draft. But we could talk about this draft.
I mean, looking at this draft, I mean, besides Kelsey, that 111 is kind of a tough spot. Basically, everybody I wanted fell with Akers going, Hill going at 110. Had to settle for Austin Eckler and Najee Harris at that turn, but you know, guaranteed
Yeah.
workloads. Eckler will get the receptions. Harris should push nearly 300 touches. We would think so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the 111 and 112 though because that's like the optimal start you want to have in best ball is getting those, two workhorse or potentially workhorse running backs that have pass catching upside, and we know Eckler does, we know Najee Harris does. So I love that start, and I mean Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon is equally as good, and Saquon and Aaron Jones. I think I think loose ends is off to a great start.
Yeah, I mean, so far my favorite is not working today. Cam Akers and Calvin Ridley. This dude might have just gotten the RB1 and wide receiver one overall in 2021.
I mean, Cam is definitely not finishing as the RB1 overall, but yeah. So right here, I'm gonna go high upside wide receiver one. It's a strategy
Nice.
that works. It's a strategy that wins, and I'll probably go with another wide receiver at this turnaround.
Over Clyde though,
I mean, we know Justin Jefferson is going to score more points than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right?
maybe.
Out of everybody that we've been talking to and all of the articles that I've been reading and researching, this is the most winning start that you can have. Maybe you could throw in an elite tight end like if you get like a Waller or Kittle, but you want to start targeting wide receivers right here in these rounds. 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back to running back like round 7, 8. If you can get your two and then wait on your third RB, that's probably more optimal, in my opinion. But
I mean, the
yeah,
numbers back that up, and like you could see here that this is a solid running back core from the 4 spot with Taylor, Gibson, and Swift. But in terms of win rates, that's not an optimal start. He should have probably gone with Keenan there, or maybe
yeah,
Allen Robinson.
exactly. So it's all about roster construction and just using historical data to obviously build the most optimal teams. And like you mentioned, taking Swift there above Keenan, Terry, A Rob, Amari Cooper is probably bad, just from a best ball perspective. I mean, I like having the 3 workhorse running backs or potential workhorse running backs, I should say. But I would say the ceilings of these wide receivers are considerably higher than the ceiling of DeAndre Swift, who ultimately is going to be splitting touches. Whether we want to believe it or not, they did it last year with Adrian Peterson, and that was a tough scene, and they're going to do it this year with Jamal Williams and just a bad team in general. And I've seen, and just transitioning into a new conversation, Patrick Mahomes. This man has been going in the 3rd round in the last couple of drafts I've done, and that is just bad.
Free money.
Bad, bad.
We talked about it on our quarterback breakdown with Hilo. It's like Mahomes to me is the one that you don't get because the chances of him finishing QB1, I think, is very comparable to a handful of other guys that you're getting 3-4 rounds later. And Allen, Lamar, Kyler, I think all have that range.
All these guys on the screen, you can get them, in the 5th, 6th round, these 4 guys, and they all have the same ceiling, I think, compared to Mahomes. You know, obviously the Chiefs are going to pass a ton, but so are the Bills, so are the Cowboys. I mean, Kyler and Lamar can get there on the ground more than Patrick Mahomes, obviously. So just a bad pick, and that's a reach to fulfill a stack, which is kind of bad. If we're just speaking in terms of optimal best ball strategy, doing this is not optimal.
I mean, you
At
want to
all.
talk about a non-optimal way to start a draft. Having a quarterback and a tight end as two of your first three picks. That ain't it,
What
Chief.
the elite tight end I could get on board with, right? Because we know the edge that it gives you. Getting a guy that is going to average 18 PPR points per game, while all the other tight ends will probably average 10. But drafting Mahomes with it is not bad, and this is probably a free money team. Sorry to say that, Shaken Baker or Backer.
J.K. Dobbins in the fourth. Is he slipping? People saw our video.
He is. He is. I think it's not just us. I think some notable people in the fantasy industry are, pushing the fade J.K. Dobbins narrative. And I
Yeah.
mean, even in the fourth round, I'm never taking him above, these players. So Amari, Godwin, Julio, Mike Evans. I'm just not. The ceiling isn't there for a player that's going to be splitting touches, and he's going to.
Consistently being taken off the field and scoring position in favor of
Yeah,
Gus Edwards, as we saw.
yep, he's gonna. Yep, lose goal line carries to Lamar.
Yep.
Added more weapons in the pass game. So IC takes Demont right there. We know that he's one of our clear cut fades. So shout out to IC for picking him. Probably gonna go with the wide receiver 3 here.
You're not going to go with Kirk, sort of complete that Vikings team stack.
Probably not.
Maybe a little Thielen, go full onslaught.
Yeah.
Say I don't take Kirk Cousins with 5'11.
Hey, I probably won't even take Kirk, to be honest. But I got the 3 main guys in the Vikings offense. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
So right here, I'm going to grab another wide receiver, just solidify my wide receiver core. You're most likely going to start 4 every single week on any fantasy site, just because they score more points than running backs. They have higher ceilings. So give me the target monster in Pittsburgh and Deontay Johnson, and my wide receiver core is pretty legit right now, I think. So I'm liking the start to my team.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good.
But yeah, I mean, I'm really just trying to, from this point on, like, just build my team just as optimal as possible, and the literal win rates show that you don't want to reach on these running backs in the RB dead zone. Shout out to Jack Miller. You don't want to reach on, or you don't want to pick these guys at all, like the Demonts, J.K. Dobbins, Josh Jacobs, because you're sacrificing value at the wide receiver position if you do so. If you can get an elite tight end, that's fine, but didn't work out for me here. It is what it is, but
And this is another look. We've seen it twice already in this draft, taking Josh Allen on the same team that they took Darren Waller in the second. Like, you can't be, if you're going to be investing premium draft capital in one of your onesie positions, I would not be doing it on the other. It's very, very simple. That's just all it comes down to for me.
yeah. I mean, I like the tight end value that you get if you wait in like the 12th, 13th round. I know we talked about the draft we did earlier, but like Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith both fell to the 13th round. I scooped both of them up. Yeah, I mean, if you can get a guy like that, I think you got Gerald Everett, right?
And that league, I did get Gerald
Yeah,
Everett.
in the 14th round. So
Something like that as my tight end too.
yeah, so I mean, I love the tight ends if you wait, and obviously tight end is the worst position in fantasy football, and I'm fine if I don't get one of the top 4 guys, because I would lump Pitts in with those top 3, personally.
I mean, to me, there's a pretty big teardrop coming at tight end, and I like TJ Hawkinson at this spot at 5'11. I'm comfortable taking him, and I think that the wide receiver drop off isn't too extreme. No matter who I get here at wide receiver, I'm comfortable, whether that's Odell or DJ Chark or whomever. Myles Gaskin lasting to the 6th is pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, he's kind of fallen a bit here. I don't know. I think for your team specifically, wide receiver would
Yeah.
probably be, but I think Myles Gaskin is
I mean, he's a value at this
He,
point.
he's a value because he is falling. Um, I don't know. You have a tough decision. I think Gaskin or wide receiver is probably
Yeah.
the
I'll
best.
be honest. If Odell hadn't gone right there, I would have gone with Odell over Gaskin. But I don't know. I have so much exposure to like DJ Chark and Robbie Anderson. It's just God. I need to back off a little bit.
Yeah, I mean
I've been
Gaskin
taking this
in the
dude DJ Chark in every draft, bro.
Gaskin in the six is really good though. So, and this is probably like the end.
Sorry, Houston. Can't do it. Want to become famous? Buy followers, Joey. Let's buy some followers, bro.
How many followers? How
Yeah.
many followers we talking?
How
This is
many you
a
gonna
bot
sell
though, so
us?
we're talking to a computer. How many we talking here?
Right.
Yeah. But Gaskin in the six, I mean that's a stone value, and then James Robinson is a stone worst pick. So
Mm.
I'm sorry, Shaken. I'm sorry. I'm kind of.
Just roasting this man's team, Kyler.
I like loose ends team though. I like his start. Um, Probably would have went wide receiver over Kareem Hunt, but Kareem Hunt did have one of the higher win rates at running back last year, and he did score more points than Nick Chubb in full PPR, but Nick Chubb did miss some games, so a little caveat there. But
Nick Chubb also ran out when he could have had a free touchdown. Well,
that is
I don't
very
remember
true.
what week that was. I just remember how much pain I was in afterwards. Had that man in every DraftKings lineup that week.
See, I'm kind of in a conundrum right here because these guys I'm not too high on at all. I think I got to take the value in Sutton right here as my wide receiver five. And
Man, your
then
running backs are gonna be ugly, bro.
yeah, I come back here. This would be the end of the running back dead zone, and I'm probably gonna take one here.
Mm.
Thinking Trey Sermon. Uh, yeah, Trey Sermon.
I like that. I've been coming around to Michael Carter. He's somebody that I'm down to consider after what we talked about with Jack Miller. He made some really good points about Michael Carter. Plus, he had a bomb ass Twitter highlight the other day, just catching a sick deep ball.
And Michael Carter goes. Shout out to IC.
Shout out to Icy. I know he stream sniped that too, 100%.
Yeah, but I mean, Michael Carter is a player that's gaining steam. I don't have many shares of him, just because I feel like I'm never in the range to take him. But I don't know. We'll have to see about the Jets offense because I feel like that's one of the offenses where the range of outcomes is as wide as any team in
Mm.
the NFL. They could either be really good because they do have talent, and then obviously Salah comes in. He comes from a Kyle Shanahan, led team where he's one of the better play callers in the NFL. So we'll see if he takes anything away from Shanahan. And
Hmm.
then obviously Zach Wilson comes in, and they drafted Elijah Moore and Michael Carter. So they got some talent, but then again, like if Zach Wilson isn't as good, the Jets offense could be bad once again. So that's one team where they could either be really good in the middle, really bad. You just really don't know at this point, and it's kind of hard to project their fantasy players. I think.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I think a lot of it'll obviously come down to how Wilson performs and whether the hype lives up to some of these other players like Elijah Moore.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, reports have said though that Wilson has been really good in OTAs and whatnot. So
mhm.
and we've talked about it on here before that Zach Wilson is probably a value at his current ADP, especially if he has like a rushing floor, which a lot of these young quarterbacks are athletic enough to run the ball some.
Indeed, indeed they are.
What you thinking here?
I feel like I'm about to get pushed into a suboptimal choice, but I'm gonna have to make it.
What choice?
I mean, maybe it's
I,
not that suboptimal, but I got to take Russell Wilson, 13 picks after ADP in the 8th round.
I mean, yeah, that's probably the best pick in this round. Um,
I
especially
don't
if
know if
you
I've ever seen Russell Wilson go
especially if
this
you
late.
look at it from a total points perspective.
Right.
Who's scoring more fantasy points out of everybody left than Russell Wilson?
Michael
You know,
Gallup, maybe. Gabriel Davis.
I don't think so, Ben. Michael Gallup goes pick after.
I should probably just shut the fuck up. That Philly kid, I know he's in the Discord too. Hey, I like that team though. I mean, Dak Prescott in the 6th, Gallup in the 8th. That's an elite stack. Does he have one of the early ones too? No, Gallup was his sole Cowboy. I like that.
I mean, we're both high on Dak and the Cowboys offense. So I like every single Cowboys player. It's kind of bad. Kind of have a problem drafting them, even though I don't have any
Sam.
of them right now. But
Is there a nastier three round run than what we have from Shakenbacker, James Robinson, Melvin Gordon, David Johnson? That's ugly.
I mean,
That's nasty, bro.
that is pretty ugly. I'm not gonna lie.
Oof.
See, when we talk about optimal strategy, like it is optimal to start targeting like your RB2 and RB3 after the 6th round. So he hit it there, but
Right,
you also have to evaluate who's still on the board.
right.
And when you got Devontae Smith, Will Fuller, Curtis Samuel, I mean, he already drafted Mahomes, so he didn't need Russ, but Gallup, and some of these guys just bad picks, bad picks. But Jalen Hurts goes. That's a tough scene. I wish he would have fell to 8-11 because he's like the end of that tier. I think.
Yep, I agree with that. I mean, I think you could make a case that Herbert went too. Just kidding. God damn, Herbert went a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, right here, I was deciding between Herbert or Sutton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I felt like I could get a quarterback on the bring back, but I mean, I still can here. I mean, Rodgers is probably in that tier below
Burrow and
the tier
Tannehill
two.
as well, I think. Stafford, maybe. Brandon Cooks. That's unfortunate for you. I know you were about to go there. Rojo.
Coming around to Rojo.
Nah.
And Aaron Rodgers goes.
What's the case for Rojo? He's going to be in like a 3-back timeshare and get no receptions.
I just think that he is the best running back on the Bucks, honestly. And I think that with his talent, Fournette isn't good. Gio Bernard isn't good. He's going to have that early down role. I don't even know where I'm going here. Fuck. I'll go with Waddle as my wide receiver 6. Probably could have went with my RB4 there, maybe James Conner. But, yeah, with Rojo, I just like betting on his talent. And, I mean, I have the game logs up on the screen. I mean, he's a solid fantasy running back. The Bucks offense, they brought everyone back from last year, so they're only going to get better. Should be in good game scripts for Rojo just to tote the rock a lot. And I mean, if you can get a player in the 9th round who can get you 18, 15, 26, and then even towards the end of the season, 17, 15, 13, I'm not too worried about the competition that he has in the backfield because I believe that he is the best running back on the Bucks.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's yeah. There is a little delay.
Yeah.
But I mean, if anybody that's watching, if you comment, we'll put it up on the screen and respond to any comment. So if you want to do that, we're just talking about these players that are going. But if you have any questions or anything, feel free to throw them down. And then Shake and Bake comes back with his RB4 and James Conner.
I like it. I like it. Too bad the rest of his team is ass.
This is the best. This is the best team in this round.
Yeah, it's definitely. What do we got here? Edwards.
What you thinking?
I mean, I need a wide receiver here. Man, I mean, it kind of dries up. I think the last guy I have a lot of interest in here is Mike Williams. I don't know. Maybe Mike Williams. I think he's been good. People look at him as a disappointment. Maybe he hasn't lived up to the expectations. But I like Big Mike, especially if Herbert continues showing what we've seen at the beginning of his career.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like Mike Williams has been, a player kind of like Joe Mixon, where he's never really hit his full potential, and people are high on him, like every season, and then it just hasn't worked out. But he has the touchdown upside, he has the big play upside, he has the boom week potential. Just kind of a wide range of outcomes with Mike Williams, and if you believe in his talent, I don't hate the pick in the 9th round.
Was Mike Williams the one who caught that touchdown for Clemson in the finals in the championship a couple years back?
To win the championship, he probably caught a touchdown in the championship game because Clemson and Bama played twice in a row. But Hunter Renfrow is the one who caught the touchdown with 1 second left to
okay, it was
beat
Renfrow.
Bama. Yeah, Watson to Renfrow to win the college football championship. 1 second left. But
Career moment for Hunter Renfrow.
God damn, quarterback is drying up here.
Hell yeah. I mean, if I'm you, I'm taking Kirk.
Yeah.
There's no there. If your team is good with Thielen, Jefferson, and Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins can't be having a bad year. You would think. I mean, maybe you like Ryan a little more, but I don't know. I'm correlation poppy. I need those stacks.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't want to take them way above ADP and sacrifice value here. Especially when I could get an RB5 in Naheem Hines. You know what? I have the Vikings pieces. I'm not going to reach for a stack. If somebody wants Kirk, they can have him. Put that out there. I think that's a situation where the Vikings players themselves individually will be good, but we saw Kirk Cousins last year not be that great in fantasy. Like he was consistent, but just in terms of boom weeks, I mean, if you
only 2 games over 25 points.
Yeah. So I think that's just one. That's one of the more I don't want to say rare, but that's one of the more uncommon situations, and I think that's the case for the Vikings specifically. So if I don't get Kirk, I don't get him. If I get him, I'll be fine. But it's looking like I'm waiting and gonna take 3 quarterbacks here soon. But I mean, I have my team on this just solidifying the main positions, the 2 most important positions here. Got my 5 RBs, got my 5 or 6 wide receivers, and we'll fill out the rest of the team with quarterbacks and tight ends. Oh shit! Drop my phone.
Probably gonna hammer wide receiver at this turn. Get my wide receiver 5 and 6 if I could get some value here.
It's just these wide receivers are like, I don't know, they're so bad in my opinion.
What are you
Just
talking about?
I think these guys are just like low floor, kind of higher ceiling guys, but they're not going to reach their ceiling that much. So what would you call those players?
Well, I would call this player that I'm about to draft the last player available that has a true chance at being his team's wide receiver one, Mr. Henry Ruggs.
Henry Ruggs ain't built to be a one.
That's a fact. That's a stone fact. 196 million in 11 years. Yeah, I mean, God, I'm not going to touch that in 111 years. So that's a big fact.
Nah, I mean I respect Kirk. I respect him, but
I mean, he is definitely corny.
for fantasy football purposes, his ceiling just isn't as high as some of these other quarterbacks that are on the board.
And
And then here you're gonna go Gabriel Davis.
of course, again, to talk about a player who you think isn't going to be hitting his ceiling at a frequent rate. I mean, God, this dude Cole Beasley's trying to get himself kicked off the team.
He can't get himself kicked off the team for speaking his opinion.
Of course he can.
You know, whether that be a bad or good opinion, whatever you might think about him, he's not going to get released by the Bills. Like,
I mean, he said that he would like basically rather retire than conform. He literally said that on Twitter. He's like, I've made enough money to take care of me and my family. Like, if I don't play, I don't play. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know. And maybe it's God's will.
yeah. I mean, he thinks it is, right? let me go on his Twitter real quick. What did he say?
He said that in the long the picture that it like looks like a statement.
Yeah. I mean, I read it. I heard about all of that shit. Don't really give a fuck, to be honest. Like, I don't care about Cole Beasley at all. Don't care about his stance on vaccination. I literally could give one fuck. But he did get taken in the 12th round, and he'll probably have more targets than Gabriel Davis if he does play. So, it is what it is, but
Do you think that players who openly are not taking the vaccine have a higher risk of not playing 17 games?
no. No. Bro, nobody had a vaccine last year. Like,
Yeah, and half them dudes were getting COVID. Titans missed a game.
I mean, he did that on purpose.
Of course he did.
That's a funny guy right there.
I love that. Thank you, Icy. That's good shit. That's good shit.
The real debate is Hunter Henry or Jonnu Smith.
The way I've been handling it is just trying to balance my exposure evenly because I don't really have a hot take as to one or the other. I think that they'll both be valuable, so I'm just trying to have even positions on them.
Yeah, I think they're both going to be really good. We'll go to here. I mean,
I
both
like
got
Tua on the 13th.
both got similar guaranteed money. Jonnu got a little bit more, and I just think that both of them have upside respectively. They're both gonna be the main focal points of the Patriots offense. Like I talked about on the tight end video, which you can find now on our YouTube channel. I think that Jonnu and Hunter Henry are basically the wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 on the Patriots, and then the actual wide receivers are behind them in terms of potential targets / touches, whatever you want to call it. So I like both of them, and you know, I think both of them have upside for this year.
Don't love Gerald Everett going there. I was hoping to scoop him as my tight end too, in a sort of like late stack to go with Russell Wilson since I missed out on Metcalf and Lockett. But Lucen, solid team, real
Yeah.
solid team.
Yeah. He is drafting a pretty solid team. I see you're pretty funny for that, honestly. But I didn't even want Kirk, so it's all right. It is
I
all
don't
right,
believe
my
that.
good friend.
I don't believe it. I think he's just hiding the pain right now.
No pain over
Damn,
here.
Tariq Cohen goes, bro.
No pain, no gain.
Mm.
What you thinking here?
Thinking I need another wide receiver, but these wide receivers are ugly. I don't have a rookie yet, so let me go with my favorite rookie in this range, little Terrace Marshall.
Going to be fifth on the team in touches.
He's going to be fourth.
It's all right. Quarterbacks are getting really slim right here. See that's kind of like the bad part about waiting on quarterback is, people start taking them, taking two. When you only have one, like Ben just did, he takes trash Daniel Jones. Jeez.
Could you find another quarterback in this range that has an 80-yard rush in their range of outcomes, who has the ability, the raw athleticism to run the ball 80 yards and bust his ass at full speed instead of capitalizing and getting in the end zone? I don't think you can.
That's a one-time thing.
How much you want to bet that Daniel Jones has another 60-plus yard run
Any amount of money you want.
before his career is over?
Oh,
Over.
no, in 2021. In 2021, I will bet against that.
I mean, that seems like a pretty solid bet. But I think that he's going to do it at least once more before the end, and he won't trip that time.
Oh God! All right, we're getting into the later part of this draft.
Adam Troutman goes in the 14th. Stone Reach. We talked about all the reasons why we're not buying Adam Troutman on the latest episode of our podcast, which dropped today, featuring Todd from PA, aka at Best Ball NFL on Twitter. One of the seasoned vets of the best ball industry. God,
Right.
Gio in the 14th. Ooh. Ooh. I like it. Little Big Ben, Deontay Johnson stack.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Big Benny H.
Benny R. Benny R from wherever he's from.
Right here, get a little high upside tight end too, and Blake Jarwin connected to a great offense. Reports have said that he looks good. He's back. He's fully healthy, ready to go. And I mean Dalton Schultz. I'm not scared of Dalton Schultz. So Blake Jarwin is definitely one of the tight ends that I've been targeting a ton in like this range in the 15th, 14th, 15th round. And he'd probably be the end of a tier if we're just looking at it. Austin Hooper, Eric Ebron are definitely in tiers below, or in the tier below.
I see comments on the drafters chat that Gio Bernard's the RB1 of the Bucks. How do you feel about that? That's cap. Yeah, it's literally Leonard
First
Fournette.
of all, Gio Bernard has been average to below average in his career. I don't know why people think that he's going to go to Tampa Bay and be anything above that. He's an average
he had
pass
four
catching running
20-point
back.
games last year, and people remember that. They don't really remember the other, however many years prior where he was just stone average.
He'll have 80 more targets than Fournette and Rojo combined.
He is not going to have 80 targets total, right?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Glad we're on the same page there. I don't know. I mean, I get it. Like, I like his mustache as much as the next guy, but I ain't drafting him in the 14th. No,
The
sir.
depth chart goes Rojo 1, Fournette 2, Gio Bernard 3, and then Fournette and Gio will probably split the third down role. Right?
Well, I think it goes Fournette one, as we clearly saw in the playoffs. That switch has already happened.
No, Rojo ended. He was hurt in the playoffs. Like he played, but he was playing hurt.
Yeah.
And was Fournette effective at all? I mean, he was good for fantasy.
Yeah. I don't know if he was like
Playoff Lenny. They call him Super Bowl Lenny
they
now.
call him. Yeah, it was Lombardi Lenny, bro. Didn't you buy
Lombardi
that
Lenny.
shirt?
But I mean, he went 12 for 55 against the Packers, 17 for 63 against the Saints, 16 for 89 in the Super Bowl. It's like, it's whatever. But yeah, Ronald Jones was injured. I mean, I think Ronald Jones is better than Fournette. Keep it a buck. Is that a bold take or what?
I mean, I think it's a bad take,
That he's
but
better than Fournette?
I don't have enough like Ronald Jones stats memorized to like really like argue this. I don't think, but I mean, God,
I mean, does Fournette have a 192 rushing yard game in his range of outcomes?
no. Does Ronald Jones have 1,000 yard season in his range of outcomes? Because he hasn't done it yet. Fournette's done it twice.
Oh, big season stats guy.
Does Ronald Jones have any type of receiving work in his range of outcomes?
He had 28 catches, 42 targets
What's
last
his
year, and he missed what 5 games last year? 4 games.
career high is 42 targets? Huh?
He missed a couple games and left in a couple games. Would have went over 1,000 last season if he didn't miss. If he didn't get
Yeah.
hurt.
If my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. No such thing as if.
I mean, I didn't know you were a big Leonard Fournette guy.
I learned it from watching you.
Hey, but we know that Leonard Fournette is trash. Okay,
I
like that. That's proven after last year. We know that Leonard Fournette is not a good running back. Yeah, I mean that Philly kid. The Bucks definitely don't need Gio Bernard there to win a championship. So I don't expect him to have a very big role.
mean, the thing with Fournette though is just at least he has the potential to be a 3 down back, whereas Rojo doesn't. Like we saw it in the playoffs. Like he
But
had
Fournette's
no less
not
than
going
4
to be a
targets.
3 down back if Rojo's healthy.
But he'll be the value. He'll have the value touches. No, I mean, is Rojo going to severely outtouch him at the goal line?
I mean, it'll probably be split.
So if that's split, and then Fournette is getting, the bulk or the majority of the receiving work, I don't see how he's not the more valuable asset.
I mean, he's not going to get the bulk of the receiving work. They're going to split receiving work.
Between Fournette and Gio.
Yeah, but Gio will have more catches than Fournette, I think, for sure. Take Slayton here.
Solid pick. I'm glad you finally listened to me and started regarding Darius Slayton highly.
Shut up.
Bruh, I had to put you on to Slayton. I'm not going to hold you. I had to turn my air conditioner off because it's like loud as fuck and it's right next to my mic for the stream. And I'm sweating bullets right now, bro. It is so goddamn hot. I already drank all my water. What the fuck am I going to do, man? Need you guys to start swinging through these picks, bro, so I can go get some water.
But yeah, so a beat A beat writer, just going back to the Bucks running back situation, a beat writer for the Bucks says that when every running back on their depth chart is healthy, Ronald Jones is the best running back in Tampa Bay, and it wasn't even close last year. Jones had 4 100-yard games to Fournette's 1. He outrushed him 978 to 367, scored more touchdowns, averaged more yards per carry, and had double the amount of 20-plus yard runs than Fournette had last year. So this dude believes that his name is Scott Reynolds. He believes that Ronald Jones is the clear-cut starter going into training camp at least.
Interesting. When Ronald Jones is the best running back on your team, you have a running back problem. Yeah, that's a stone fact. That's an absolute fact.
Hey, but running backs don't matter just in the NFL. Running backs don't matter. All you need is a player like Ronald Jones to come in.
Come up with that take yourself?
Yeah.
Never heard that one before.
I mean, it's not a problem, though. So I don't agree with that take. It's definitely, they won a championship. Like, you can't say it's a problem if they won a Super Bowl.
Off the back of Lombardi Lenny. I guess Tom had something to do with it.
Yeah, and maybe their defense too. Only holding the best offense to 9 points.
Yeah. Now I do only have one tight end going into the 19th round.
That's suboptimal.
Is it?
That's very suboptimal, I think. Especially, it'd be a shame if somebody took like Chris Herndon or any of like the starters left, because then you're taking a backup.
No,
But
because
you're expecting TJ to smash if you draft him in the 5th round.
Right, I'm
or
expecting
6th
him to
round, or
smash.
whatever.
And also, I know what tight ends to take in this range. There's some gems, some real hidden gems. Maybe you guys have already heard our podcast that dropped today about tight ends, and or maybe you don't, but I do.
No.
Kylan Granson.
Kylan Granson is going to score 20 points total.
You really think that the Colts tight end 1 is going to score 20 points with Carson Wentz throwing the ball?
The Colts tight end 1?
Yes.
No.
Hand selected by Frank Reich to be Carson Wentz's new Zach Ertz and recapture the glory days they once shared in Philly.
Yeah, I mean, he's their tight end 3 right now. I don't know what you're talking about, but I mean
Jack Doyle's dust.
Jack Doyle and Mo Alley Cox are going to play above Kylan Granson. Sorry to burst your bubble on that one. Right here, I mean, take my boy Cam in the 18th round as my QB3. Jeez, I love that value. Love it.
Are you taking a third tight end?
I might in the 20th round.
See, this would be prime Jacob Harris position if drafters had their shit together and had him under the right position. Know what I'm saying?
That is factuals. Actual facts. Give me K Bourne. Pair him up with Cammy. My wide receiver core is already solidified, so all of these guys are just fillers. TBH. But I see. You should have took Devontae Booker above Wayne Gallman. You're kind of bugging for that.
Why?
Booker's a better pick than Gallman.
Gallman's not on the Giants anymore.
I know. I'm saying player for player. Booker is a better pick than Gallman.
Is he?
In the 18th. Yes. There you go. There you go, Houston. Great pick.
See, there's a handful of running backs that I'd prefer to Booker or Gallman, to be honest.
I mean, there's nobody left.
That's not
But
true.
besides maybe Joshua Kelly or Justin Jackson, if you're just going for touchdown upside.
And that's exactly what I was talking about, sir. And I
But
think you could also make the case for Marlon Mack or Ramondre Stevenson.
I mean, definitely not Stevenson. He's going to be like the RB4 on the Patriots. Because, I mean, I'm a Sony hater, but he wasn't bad towards the end of last year, and he's still on the team.
No, Ramondre Stevenson's replacing James White as the primary pass catching back.
No, absolutely not. James White, Sony, and Damian Harris are all above Ramondre Stevenson. He shouldn't even be being drafted, honestly. It's a waste of a pick.
Take a look at my bye weeks here, see which running back I want to go at.
Take the latest 49ers running back every year. I mean, yeah, it's just why I said that is because Wayne Gallman is like their RB4
I
or
mean,
RB3.
you're a big Wayne Gallman guy, though. At least you were down the stretch last year. Was that
I
a
mean,
DraftKings exclusive type of
yeah,
pick?
he was the RB1 for the Giants. Just
That he was.
checking my buys as well, making sure I'm all straight. Looks like I'm all good. All right. Right here, I mean, I got 3, 5, 9, and 2. So I could really go any position, honestly. I'll probably go. Jeez, I don't know. Should I go tight end?
Grab Dalton Schultz, get that tight end handcuff, the rare tight end handcuff.
I think I'm gonna grab Fryermuth, pair him up with Big Ben. Maybe luck box into an Eric Ebron situation where he doesn't play and Fryermuth is the guy. I mean, they did take him in the second round, so he'll probably have a role, but not a good enough role to be fantasy relevant. But second round draft capital is still pretty high.
I gotta say, we kind of skipped over, but Byron Pringle going in the 17th round, he was like a 20th round pick, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Fryermuth here. All right, end of the draft. We'll let Ben discuss his team first. How do you think you did on this draft? What are your thoughts, Benny?
Well, I went 3, 5, 10, and 2. I like the construction in terms of that. I mean, I like this draft. I had some value for all. I mean, Russell Wilson in the 8th is stone value. Getting Gaskin at 62 overall, I think is great value. I love the start with Eckler and Harris and just hammering wide receivers in that mid range with Robinson, Godwin, Fuller, Mike Williams. I guess I would have optimally not liked to have taken Gaskin there and gone wide receiver in the 6th round instead, but I just couldn't pass up the value on Gaskin. He's a player I want more exposure to, and never going to get a better price than going in the 6th round.
Yeah, I mean, I like your team. It's pretty solid. Personally, I would have passed over T.J. Hawkinson for a wide receiver instead of Gaskin. I think Gaskin there is fine, but like I just said, wide receiver over a tight end in the 5th round. Because for me, it's like you're either taking one early or you're taking one late, and I'm probably staying away from these like mid-range tight ends: Andrews, Hawkinson, Goddard. Unless I have Jalen Hurts, definitely Higbee, definitely Logan Thomas. Just no, I'd much rather get the depth on my team. Target the positions that are going to be starting the most players on my teams every week. But if you're high on TJ, then you're high on him. I just think I don't know. I think the ceiling is kind of low. We talked about it, referencing again the tight end video. Todd kind of agrees that TJ Hawkinson is I don't want to say a floor player, but he most likely will provide you more like 10, 12 point weeks than 22, 23 point weeks. And I tend to agree.
Mm. Pull your squadron up. Let's see what we got before we get to a few of these others from the boys and
So, I
the
mean,
chat.
I like my team. I like the construction. Obviously, building optimally. You grab your workhorse RB1. If you're lucky enough, you can get a second one, which you did, which is good. But I couldn't, so just started hammering wide receivers. Got some high upside guys. Quarterback is obviously the weakest position here, but we know that quarterback scoring is generally tight. So I'm fine with waiting on 3 quarterbacks, and hopefully I can get some boom weeks out of these guys, especially if we see from last season, the trend stay from last season with Pittsburgh throwing the ball a ton. Miami bounce back offense candidate with Tua. Cam Newton, if he's the starter, should give me some, 25, 30-point games due to his rushing upside. So
Yeah,
don't mind my team.
I think it's a pretty solid team for sure. I mean, you've got the triple stack, which is something I always love to see. 3 quarterbacks with 3 of their matching pass catchers. 5 running backs is solid. We learned a lot from our discussion with Jack Miller about what the optimal running backs to take are towards the end of your construction, and Naheem Hines directly fits that category in terms of being a pass catching running back that's just going to most likely outscore a lot of the guys that are being drafted around him. And when you go wide receiver in rounds 2 through 6, I think that gives you some flexibility to spend 6 picks between quarterback and tight end, because you don't really need a wide receiver 10 when you've got, such a strong core.
Yeah. So I like my team, and maybe not the player specifically, but this build, roster construction wise, has been a winning build over the last 3-4 years in best ball. Already tried to hammer it to the viewers, but if you're just watching now, grab your running back, grab the wide receivers in the mid rounds, maybe mix in an elite tight end there and or an elite quarterback, depending how the draft falls to you. But obviously, don't be stuck into a certain strategy. And also with my team, I know Icy did take Kirk, but at that point, it was past his ADP, so he got some value on Kirk, and I wasn't going to reach on Kirk sacrificing value to complete a stack, which I think was smart, even though I ended up with Tua as my quarterback 1, which is whatever. Like, it's whatever. Quarterback is, like I said, it's generally tight, so not too worried about it.
Let's see IC's team. Speaking of the man himself,
the sniper.
Yeah.
Stream sniper. Yeah.
Ends with the same build that you had, 3-5-9-3. What do we think about this team?
Yeah, I mean, solid team after looking at it. AJ, Mike Thomas, Kenny G, Robbie, Kamara. Quarterbacks are fine. Dima, obviously, he didn't watch our top 5 fades, or he didn't listen to the top 5 fades podcast, I should say. Because David Montgomery's on there. So I don't like that in the 4th round. But other than that, I think it's a pretty solid team.
Yeah, I agree. Demont, Brandon Cooks, this is a team after your own heart.
Absolutely not.
I like it, though. Tannehill stack to A.J. Brown. Ferks are there as well. It's got Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Solid team.
Pretty solid.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think we got to look at Shake and Baker. Goes 3 quarterbacks when he drafts Mahomes at pick 33 in the 3rd round.
Goes
gets
3
Trevor
tight
Lawrence.
ends with Travis Kelce in the 1st round.
Yep. What does he have? He has 8 wide receivers.
6 running backs.
8 wide receivers, and only took 3 in the top 10 rounds. And 6 running backs, all past round 6.
I mean, why are you taking OJ Howard? Like, you are so solid with Kelce and Ingram. Why are you taking OJ Howard?
I mean,
in the
who
19th.
who went right there? So, I mean, Guyton, Renfro, Humphreys, Bowden,
I mean,
Josh Palmer.
guess they're all scrubs anyways, but
Yeah, but I mean that's just a tough scene. But I mean, I hate to be like that guy, but this is just a rake team. Like you're contributing to the rake if you draft a team like this.
right,
Because not even the players so much. I mean, the players are pretty bad, but the players are not that great. But just roster construction wise, you're
it's
just
terrible.
losing. You're just losing automatically because I mean, it's $5.55, which is whatever. But at the end of the day, you're still spending money however you got it, working, your
Right,
dead end job,
right.
like that, because that's all we do now is we slave for other
Mm,
companies,
that's deep.
and you're still spending that money. At least try and do it to give yourself a chance to win. And if this
Right.
team wins, I'll delete my Twitter. I'll stop talking about fantasy football.
Mm,
Yeah, if this team specifically wins this tournament, I will retire from fantasy football.
wow. You you heard it here first. We'll get to Houston's team here in a second, but yeah, let's just pull that up now.
FD Houston. Shout out to Houston Wenzel in the chat.
Let's see what he's got.
See what he's got. I mean,
3683.
just looking at the roster construction, he followed a very similar path as me, and that's a winning path. He got Chase Edmonds and Mostert in the 6th and 7th, which we referenced the running back dead zone. That's probably the end of the dead zone, which is right here. So I don't mind Chase Edmonds as the RB2, even though it might be a little too rich for Ben. But roster construction wise, it's perfect. RB1 and Zeke, wait on running backs until like the 6th through 10 range, 7th through 10 range. Hammer wide receivers early. Get your core high upside tight end that you might be high on. You got a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe could have went with two with Goddard and Johnu build, but I know that I've advocated on just grabbing three because it is a 17 game season. Drafters format specifically is a total points format, and it's 20 rounds, so you're kind of afforded, the luxury to go with three quarterbacks or three tight ends, especially towards the end of the draft when shit starts to dry up in the running back and wide receiver pool, and the best picks are probably quarterbacks and tight ends.
Yeah.
On underdog, obviously, I would have stuck with two, but I'm fine with three. It's just kind of nitpicking there, but
My only issue with this team, I think, is that 8 wide receivers is a little thin for me on drafters with the 20 rounds. But other than that, it's super
yeah,
solid. Like the construction, like you said, the times that he took these players, super solid. Zeke Elliott going at 1.6 went from being what would have been a reach like 3 weeks ago to being a value. So
yeah.
I like everything about this squad.
The one pick that I wouldn't have made would probably be Zach Moss in the 10th. I probably would have went wide receiver over Zach Moss,
Mm-hmm.
especially because up to that point you had your three running backs already. But other than that, I like this team, and I know some people are high on Zach Moss. I'm just kind of not one of those guys, so maybe that's just like a personal thing.
Unless I think that Philly kid is the last one we should review here. I know he's a member of our Discord.
Yeah, shout out,
Could be
shout
in the
out to
chat.
him.
Yep.
Yeah, shout out to Philly kid.
Let's see what we got here. Looking at the construction, got a 2.693. What do you think about this team?
Um, let's see. So he went wide receiver early, which is fine, especially if you're getting Tyreek Hill and Steph Diggs. Sanders, Mike Davis, Gus Edwards, Henderson, Cohen. I mean, I think it's a solid team.
There's a lot of upside in total points, right?
Yes,
Like he's
yes.
got Dak Prescott and Joe Burrow. That's super elite.
Kyle
You know,
Pitts is
Tyreek Hill,
elite.
Steph Diggs, Devontae Smith, Michael Gallup, like Kyle Pitts, yep, elite. I mean, Zach Ertz and CJ Uzoma is kind of a tough scene. And if you're drafting, a tight end in the first 4 rounds, I'm definitely not taking three. That would be my only main issue with this team. But everything else looks super good.
Yeah, I
At least
mean,
from a construction standpoint. I mean, Cole Beasley, 12-3. its value.
Yeah. I don't hate this team. Think it's pretty solid. Running back, I think is kind of weak, especially on a full PPR site. You know, you got guys like Gus Edwards, Daryl Henderson, Ahmed that probably aren't going to catch many passes, aren't going to contribute there. But Mike Davis, Sanders, and Cohen probably will. So you got a nice little balance there. It's just I don't know with Mike Davis. I tend to find myself drafting the wide receivers in that fifth round over him. I just think that the ceilings are higher, and just for total points, I'm shooting for ceiling. But all in all, it is a solid team if you're just looking at it from a total points perspective, because all of these guys are contenders to be, well, at quarterback, wide receiver, and tight end. He's probably got four guys that are going to be at the top of the position.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I think that's it, unless we missed somebody, but I'm pretty sure that we
No,
reviewed the teams that we needed to. If you guys liked what you saw, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We go live every single Monday and do these drafts, and join the Discord so you guys get a heads up as to when we are going live. Yeah,
yeah,
Joe, you pulling up the YouTube channel for him. That's what's up. Hit that subscribe button. We've been growing every day. Plus, we have a wide receiver rankings video dropping with James Brimacombe, one of the sharpest DFS or best ball players up there and DFS
and
players.
DFS.
Some of you probably know him as Eagles. Some of you probably know him from taking your money in the lobbies. So he'll be on talking wide receivers with us. That'll be out on Thursday.
Yep, and I think that's it. Solid draft all around, everybody.
Yep.
A lot of viewers on this live stream, so shout out to everybody that watched and
Yep.
join the Discord if you're not already joined. I think everybody watching is joined though, so
Yep.
shout out to them and
Shout out to you guys. We appreciate you. We value you. Until next time. Catch you on the flip.